As Autism Acceptance Month comes to a close over the next several days, our Jaylon-Banks brings us stories highlighting the work done within the autism community.
Over the next 3 nights, Jaylon shares 3 Time for Kids stories showcasing the legacy, influential treatment approaches, and the facility that all stem from one man's mission to make the autism community a better place. Jaylon?
Susan and Eric, for years, limitations and stigmas have been placed on those with autism and on the spectrum. But one man set to change that. Dr. Darold Treffert would lead to a world more accepting and better equipped to help those on the spectrum. Even though he has since passed since December of 2020, his legacy lives on. Dr. Darold Treffert was a man of many titles and accomplishments. UW Medical School graduate, superintendent of the Winnebago Mental Health Institute. But for many, he was just a kind figure.
Dr. Treffert was really one of those once-in-a-lifetime people that you get to meet. From videos that I've seen about, like, Mr. Rogers, very similar expression.
Treffert, of all his titles, is best known for his work with those who are neurodivergent and on the spectrum.
Was, arguably the world's leading expert on savant syndrome, hyperlexia, and within those things, autism plays a significant role in those populations. So kind of by proxy, autism was also a big aspect of his work.
The work he's done in the world of savant syndrome made it all the way to the big screen, where he would be a consultant on the 4-time Oscar-winning film, Rain Man.
How important are, different mediums of representation like that for neurodivergent individuals to either help break that stigma of neurodivergent individuals and also allow those individuals to see, like, hey, I can accomplish great things?
I think it's huge. Whenever we see somebody who we can say they're like me and they're succeeding, there's, again, it's kind of exponential.
His work and research led to multiple facilities in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, centered around building on the best of those with disorders instead of focusing on their limitations. ssm-health Treffert Center and Treffert Studios.
The best way to kind of get to the potential of individuals is focusing on what they're good at.
We are in the second day of our Time for Kids series on Dr. Darold Treffert, Treffert Studios, and the work that continues to be done with those who are neurodivergent and have autism.
Our Jaylon-Banks goes in depth on Dr. Treffert's approach when treating those with disorders.
The Treffert approach consists of 6 components. 3 of them, however, dig deeper and get down to the core of who we all are: human. A focus that was not always a priority when treating individuals.
Having curiosity, being curious, instead of judgmental, I think way ahead of his time.
Seems to make sense, but when he was doing it in the 80s and 90s, this was a new concept.
One of the human-focused approaches is strength-based focus, honing in on the strengths of an individual.
To see a medical professional to be so human and to look within that person, and that's really where he describes somewhere is an island, and we have to find that island and grow it. That is amazing, right? Because that's human, and that's all of us.
The next is nature and natural environment, teaching and learning outside or through motion and play.
Nature and the natural environment. And we all respond differently to nature. It's healing. And children learn best in integrated and inclusive environments. We all do. We have so much to learn from each other. But oftentimes we segregate people based on different sorts, right? Whatever heuristics we have.
Lastly, nurturing relationships, emphasizing how relationships are the foundation to acceptance to one another.
Talk a lot about relationships. It's all about relationships. Everything is relational. And so the friction points that exist when we don't understand each other kind of wear on all of us. And that fit is about relationship. Healing. All of us have traumatic events in our lives. The mitigating factor for all of us is a relationship. Just that one person that believed in us or listened to us. And Dr. Treffert has obviously been that for so many people.
On Monday, Jaylon-Banks shared with you the legacy of Dr. Darold Treffert and how his work impacts people every day. And then we learned about his influential personal approach to treating individuals with disabilities.
Today, Jaylon-Banks takes you inside ssm-health's Treffert Studios, the place that brings to life every day what Dr. Treffert stood for, an environment geared toward bringing the best out of those with autism and other disabilities. Take a look.
Treffert Studios has many functions, most designed to cultivate creative skills through hands-on teaching. Some areas include music.
You ever seen Drum Mom Nick Cannon? I was just watching Whiplash the other day.
When you feel safe and you feel connected and you feel like you're in a space where you can really explore things that are interesting to you, possibly passions of yours, it changes the game. It changes your relationships, it ups your confidence, and it really leads to opportunities to reach our full potential in ways we didn't even see before.
Passions are not only encouraged to come from clients and patients, but from employees as well. Spencer is a behavioral treatment technician at the studio. He himself is on the spectrum and uses his passions as a way to give back to those like him.
You're an individual that's on the spectrum, and now you're helping individuals on the spectrum. Yeah. Tell me how that's been over the last few years.
Biggest thing for me was that as a person on the spectrum, not as like a stigma or anything like that, but if I can do these amazing, great decisions just by being consistent on a daily basis, being 1% better, not trying to change my whole life, I try to let people know that anyone can do it. Here at the studios for me, it's about healthy eating and working out. And those are my two prime things that I like.
So Spencer shared with me his passions. The first, fitness.
All right, Jaylon.
So as far as
Yes,
the
sir.
different clients,
Yes, sir.
you know, how do you guys go about
Yes.
teaching them? How does this benefit them? So, I mean,
Yes,
you know,
sir.
they come here, they'll play video games, but
For
it's
sure.
not just
Yes.
simply playing video games. It's interaction with one another.
Absolutely. So the cool thing about this is when that was working, they could play against each other. And this kind of created camaraderie. But more importantly, a lot of the people that I really see here, that come here, don't really have a physical background. So it's kind of like cooking for them. Right. Is building that self-confidence and like, whoa, this is actually really fun. And then they would try something else. But for them, it's more about camaraderie and just the fun and engagement of this.
And after putting me through a workout, he showed me how to make a post-workout snack.
So we have the bacon, the egg, and the cheese. Beautiful.
Because you gotta get this right in the center.
Little Salt Bay action.
Like a nest. Boom.
Beautiful.
Through the many aspects of Treffert, from the art, video production, therapy, and everything else, it truly fosters a sense of preparedness.
They get to know us, we get to know them, and places like this just brings out the best in them. Because sometimes we all know that it can be a little challenging out there in the world, but through places like this, we can help them get ready for the future.
But most importantly, a sense of self-belief for all.
Remember, everyone, if you believe, you will achieve.
My man. Appreciate it, CJ.
Remember, it's not what you can't do that makes you different. It's what you do that makes the difference.
My man.
Love it. If you'd like to learn more about how you can get involved with ssm-health Treffert Studios, you can find the information on our website, channel3000.com.